CNC can look impressive. And with its dual colored polished aluminum rails, its 2 drag chains, and its MDF spoil board, this one definitely does. But looks don't mean a thing if this thing can't perform. So we're going to put this to the test and decide if this machine can actually deliver. We'll test the 3 things that matter most when it comes to a CNC. Number 1, strength and rigidity. How rigid is the machine under heavy cutting loads? Can it cut deep and fast without flexing, without chatter? Will it skip steps if it can't handle those heavy loads? Because when a machine deflects, your cuts won't be accurate, and if your max depth of cut is only about a 1/16 of an inch, because that's all your machine can handle, that's terrible. Number 2, accuracy and repeatability. Can it produce precise, repeatable cuts? We'll test this with an inlay, which is one of the best ways to reveal any accuracy issues. If the fit is sloppy or the gaps are inconsistent, the machine isn't performing well. A good CNC should make the same cut over and over with tight tolerances. Number 3, and this is something that really bothers me, motor holding strength during bit changes. Do the motors stay locked in hold position during those bit changes? This is critical for any multi-stage project such as rough and detail passes or V-carve inlays. If the motors release and the router shifts even slightly, the alignment is lost and the project is ruined. So let's find out. About a month ago, my good friends at Genmitsu reached out to me via email, wanted to know if I would review another one of their machines. Went through the email, they sent a product link, I clicked the link, yes, clicked the link, it was good, brought me to their website, and I was very encouraged at what I saw. This machine seemed very strong, it seemed rigid, it seemed able to handle the loads, it seemed like it would cut very fast, and something that was particularly encouraging to me was this has the full-size trim router, the same size that I use in my larger hobby machine over there, so that it's the 65 millimeter Makita trim router. I was very encouraged with this, so I said, go ahead, send me this machine, let's see what it can do. I've been running CNCs for 5+ years now, and I have many thousands of hours of experience, so I know the difference between a good CNC and a great CNC. I'm not going to do any sort of unboxing. There's other videos out there on how to assemble this thing, but they do claim on the website that you can get this thing assembled in between 20 and 30 minutes, and I got to say that estimate was pretty spot on. I got it done in actually just under 20 minutes. It comes about, I would say, 70-75% assembled. You just have to put some bolts in, bolt up the drag chain, run all your wires into the back of the control box. I mean, that's really it. So once you finish, you'll have the machine that looks just like this, and this thing looks awesome. And I got to tell you, one noticeable thing right off the bat is this thing is heavy. And that is a great sign. That means this thing is strong. That means it is built solid. It's not going to vibrate across your work surface. And it seems like it's going to be able to withstand any of those loads that you can put on a CNC when it's plowing through wood. Level 1, test project number 1, this sign made out of pine. The reason why I chose pine as the first project is pine is incredibly soft. It's really easy to cut. And I wanted to give this machine something easy as its first project. I wanted to see if it was even worth going on and testing some of the harder materials. And the results are very impressive. The letters are very clean, the edges are sharp, and the bottom of the pockets are really smooth. This is a really good result for the first test. So now it's time to go on to level number 2. Level 2, test project number 2, is this line I carved out of pine. The reason why I chose this particular file was this was going to introduce something new to the CNC, and that is a bit change. We're going to be able to tell, number 1, how well these motors hold position while changing that bit from an end mill to a V-bit. And also we'll test the precision and the accuracy of the machine when it lines up that second toolpath on top of the first toolpath. Any sort of inconsistencies are really going to show up, and there aren't any. This thing carved really well. The toolpaths line up absolutely perfect. The machine didn't jog at all during the bit change. I am very pleased with the results right here. Everything looks really good, really crisp, really clean. The bottom of those pockets are smooth once again. So far we are 2 for 2. Let's step it up and go to level 3. Level 3, Test project number 3, an inlay. I chose 2 hardwoods for this inlay, 1/2 inch oak for the female pocket and 1/4 inch padauk for the male plug. I wanted to test this machine in hardwood. Those first 2 tests were in pine, so it was time to step it up a little bit. When I set the toolpath up for the pocket in the oak, I wanted to do 1 pass at 1/4 inch depth. I really wanted to try to see if I could bog this machine down. I really wanted to test the ability to handle the lateral forces, and it did really well. The pocket looked really clean. So once that was finished, I popped that off and I just carved the male part of the inlay out of padauk, and that did really well too. Really clean edges, everything looks really good. I chose the Carhartt logo here on the left. That has just a bunch of curved edges. And then I chose a simple $sign here on the right because that has some curved edges as well as some straight ones. I thought that would throw an extra curveball in there. Once everything was all finished, I put some glue in the pocket and I just pounded in the male plug and I gave that just a little bit of time to dry. Looking upon this looks really great. There aren't any gaps at all. If there were, and if those gaps were inconsistent from side to side or top to bottom, you would have an alignment issue, but everything looks absolutely awesome. This is something you could sell for sure. This is something you could put your name on and be proud of. This is a really good, a really clean looking inlay. This machine is doing awesome. It's 3 for 3. Let's go to level 4. Before we get to level 4, there was a small side quest. While I was testing this machine, Mrs. Sawdust asked me if I'd make her a small valet just for some keepsake items. And I figured this was just another great test for this machine. So I grabbed some walnut, I secured it down to the spoil board, I put a 5/8 inch bowl bit into the router there, and I started carving. This was a great test because that 5/8 inch bowl bit is pretty large, so that's adding a lot of forces to this router. That bit's spinning pretty quick, and I wanted to just see how well it would do. It's a couple of different steps till it gets down to its final depth. Then you can run a smoothing pass where it'll take out any of those steps left behind by the step over. These edges in here are really clean, even like that inside corner. It leaves that nice little rounded inside edge, a little scalloped edge. Just makes getting any of those keepsake items out just a little bit easier. This bottom is perfectly smooth. These edges are very clean, very smooth. This is a really nice looking item. This is definitely something you could sell online like in Etsy or a store like that. This is just another awesome test. This is something I didn't plan on testing, but I had such great results, and I just wanted to show you guys that you can even do bowls like this, valet trays, catch-all trays. This thing is doing really awesome so far. We're at what? Level 3.5, so let's go up to level 4. Level 4, the final boss, this 1/4 inch aluminum plate. This is 6 inches wide by 12 inches long, and this was really going to put this machine to the test. It was going to test whether or not it was strong enough to carve a harder material like aluminum. It was going to test whether or not those motors can really lock out during a bit change when I go from a flat end mill to a V-bit. And it was also going to see how accurate this machine was when I'm stacking those tool paths, going from the roughing pass to the detail pass. Is there any sort of variation? Is there any stepping? Is there any misalignment of this machine? The answer is no. This thing carved absolutely beautifully. Couldn't believe it. I've never even tried carving aluminum on my larger machine over there. This thing handled it no problem at all. This thing was actually so strong that it broke 2 of my 60-degree V-bits. And that's probably my fault. I don't even know if you should be using a V-bit on aluminum. It went through and carved out a roughing pass with a 1/4 inch upcut end mill. Then I switched out to that 60-degree V-bit. The V-bit made about 50% of the way through until the flutes sheared off and I could see them on the piece of aluminum. I let it finish the toolpath and it was actually still clearing out some material. So when that toolpath finished, I put a brand new 60-degree V-bit in there, re-chalked it up there, reran that same toolpath, and this time it got to about 90% until one of the flutes ripped off. But at that point, the vast majority of the material had already been hogged out. So once it finished, it left a really nice looking project. My plan was to pour this red epoxy in there, so that's just what I did. And this is awesome. This is so freaking cool. Out of all the stuff I've done in the 5 years of running my CNCs, this might be the coolest thing ever. This is This is solid 1/4 inch aluminum. This is heavy. This looks great. This looks awesome. I don't have enough good things to say about this machine, guys. If I didn't have a full-size machine over there, I would absolutely consider buying this one. This is a really nice machine. If you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. Go check out my channel. I've got a bunch of other videos on there. If you like this video, you'll definitely like those videos. And until next time, take it easy.